Coffer.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
A new scheme in St Albans called Playing Out has had a successful trial, with residential streets closing to allow the children to come out onto the streets and cycle, scoot and play together in the road. 7 streets in and around St Albans and Harpenden closed for around 3 hours while neighbours took the opportunity to socialise. You actually talked to each other. Did you actually talk to each other?
Yes,
spoke.
absolutely.
You said words and interacted.
And we had tea and cake,
Wow.
and we all got to know each other better.
This while the children played on the road. And Nicola Wyeth is Playing Out coordinator. Leslie Flowers is a trustee of Sustainable St Albans. They're managing the project with the district council. So you've both got children, you've got young children. You live in one of those, and I'm not going to obviously, for obvious reasons, give you the name of the street, but we know St Albans, we know Harpenden. You're in one of those narrow, terraced house, beautiful streets where you get the old Edwardian houses, people parking on either side, and basically a single line down the middle, which 2 cars tend to try and chase each other for. Not easy for your children to play out in the street.
Definitely not. No, not the way that I used to play out as a kid.
How did you used to play out as a child?
Oh, every day. Every day we were out there on our bikes, just kicking around, mucking around with all kids of different ages. And that was a really lovely thing.
But was it in the kind of narrow Edwardian street that you currently live on, or were you in an area where it was safer to do so?
I was on a more modern street than I am now. But my mum still lives there, and there is no way on earth I would let my kids play out on that street now, because there are far more cars. They don't drive in a way that they are expecting children to be on the road. They drive far faster. And there's a lot more parked cars on the road, so they don't have the visibility lines that they would have had in the 70s and 80s when we played out.
And also the cars are, shall we say, quite a bit bigger. I know I'm not saying that Harpenden and St Albans is full of 4x4s. No, actually, I am saying Harpenden is full of 4x4s. In terms of your and elsewhere, in terms of your concerns, were they safety or safeguarding? What I mean by that is, are you not letting your children play out because you're either getting it mowed down by a car, or are you not letting them play out because you're worried that they're actually safe with other people?
My concerns have always been safety, definitely. We went on holiday actually in the summer to a Swiss village in the mountains, which was beautiful. It was car free, and I let my 6-year-old and 9-year-old go off because there weren't the cars. So it really taught me that it is the safety that worries me, not the safeguarding aspect of letting kids play out now.
But
and the cars just bomb down there.
Yeah. Leslie, the children of our generation are very lucky. You know, they have all the mod cons. They are part of a very exciting, diverse culture. What were your children losing out on by not being able to be in the street?
They were losing out on, in our street, the opportunities to meet other children on the street. At one point, we had children on our street go to 10 different primary schools. Yeah, they didn't get to know each other well, whereas on my street, which was when I grew up, which is actually in Cornwall, I grew up on a large street, but all the children did get to know each other. So they're losing out on that. They were, because of technology, they were maybe wanting to stay in, but there weren't the incentives to go out. So we've seen some on some of the trial streets recently, some of the streets that were playing out a couple of weeks ago. We had 11-year-olds saying they'd gone out and they'd left their phone at home, and that's not something you hear very often. So it's taking children, it's encouraging them to do exercise, and have great fun and meet. It
isn't part of the problem there as well, and I completely respect your views, Nicola, for not letting your children go out in a busy street. My former house, the one before I'm in the one now, was in an identical street to the one you're in, and I know about fast cars. But aren't we part of the problem as well as parents? Because I see it, with children who, for example, coming over to play dates, and I get a list of very strict instructions as to where they are allowed to be and where they're not allowed to be. I happen to have a big open space in front of my house, which would be a great place to play out. There's no cars there. It's not a thoroughfare. The only cars that come in my street are those that go into their houses either side. I'm making it sound like a mansion. It's a terraced house. Are parents part of the problem as well?
I think there's a cultural thing, that's a cultural shift that's happened since the times when we were growing up, and people are more shocked now when they see children on their own. If you see a 7-year-old walking down to the shops by themselves, you double take and say, "Where's the parent?" I think the nice thing about playing out is the long-term goal isn't just about using road closed signs. I think a lot of us would like to get back to the point where we don't have to use road closed signs, that we could get to a point where culturally it's acceptable to let your children go out and play, and that cars are expecting children to be out to play in the way that they were before.
Which is never going to happen.
You can start small, can't you? And that's what we're doing. So at the moment, what our scheme does is it gives people the opportunity to, about once a month, make that space for the children, make a safe space for the children, come out and play. And that's the starting point really for it.
So you saw the project elsewhere. You decided to bring it to St Albans. You've been able to do so with the help of the district council. In terms of what you saw when you closed the road off, what you saw for those 3 hours, happy children, neighbours who perhaps were isolated for different reasons actually coming out?
Absolutely. I mean, on our street, it was raining on Sunday. It was World Calvary Day, and it was raining. We had about 60 children out playing. And we had the adults, they had their coats and umbrellas at some of the times. But we have elderly people coming out. We've had, on a few occasions, our street has done this a few times before. We've had grandparents come back and sat on the street and say, well, yeah, that they lived there when they were a kid. This is like it was when I was a kid. We have children have huge skipping ropes. We all, various people make cakes, and we put a big tea urn, and people bring out their mugs and fill up the tea. So people get to know each other. And yes, the isolated people are coming out and joining in. It's lovely.
Technically, how do you close off a street?
Well, you start by applying, so you can't just go out there and get a road closed line and stick it up, I'm afraid. So you have to go through an application process, and it's very sensibly done. You have to have a street meeting and get residential
So
approval.
everyone has to approve. And then on the day, what happens? Police?
No police, although the police are aware and they are involved and supportive. But you have road closed signs and you have stewards. And we actually use wheelie bins because it's very easy, very cheap to hand. String up banners, road closed banners between wheelie bins, and then your stewards in high-vis jackets close the road.
So I've been away, I've just come back, I'd forgotten it was road closure day, I'm busting for a pee and I need to park my car.
That's fine. So our stewards are there deliberately to enable those people who aren't joining in the session to access the closed
So
area
you can
if they
still-
belong there.
you can
Definitely.
still get back
It's
to-
just through traffic it's closed to. And so if someone wants to come through, then a marshal will help them through the closed barrier.
Knowing what parking is like in your neck of the woods, the clever people will take advantage because, of course, everyone will have moved their car out to make the street a bit looser, or if they know they've got to go out a bit later on, and you come and park your car and leave it there for a week so you've got your space in your tight Edwardian street.
Oh, our neighbours are lovely. I'm sure no one would do that sort of thing.
So what happens next? You want other people to get involved?
Yes, absolutely. So it's been a trial in 2019. We've had 11 streets, which has been fabulous. And now the scheme is open for any streets in the St Albans district, so St Albans, Harpenden and the villages that is suitable. What they need to do is to contact us, so Sustainable St Albans / playing out on the website. Come to us and we'll be able to give them all the information, help them through the application process, give them that we can provide the kit, the road closed signs, the high vis. So yes, we're looking for more people in the district to get involved, and also if other people in other areas of 3 counties, talk to your council, talk to your local community groups. Yeah, see if you can get it going in your area.
Ask the question. I think it's a lovely project, and I think it is important that our children get a chance to, as you say, interact, be out there, rough it up a little bit, fall over, graze their knees on our roads, just get that chance to actually be somewhere other than the back garden or stuck in their room on the games console. I think it's a really nice idea.